Ah, bonjour, bonjour, boners. Bonjour, boners. ¿Cómo estás? I hope bien. Hi, welcome. Hi, my name's Jess Wood. Welcome to Get Wood, brought to you by anti-fascism and brought to you by love and brought to you by Dia de las Muertes today, and the holiday spooky season. And they're coming to get me. They're coming to take me away. Ha ha. Hoo, hoo, hey, hey, ha. Oh, and brought to you by Gen X Pain. How are you? Nice to see you. Bonjour, bonjour. Just want to say bonjour to everyone. Boners. There you are. And uh. Uh, uh, Big, but of course, sure, let's sing. Those of you who've reached out and said you love singing and to keep singing, I say huzzah. So Big Bird, Sesame, Big Minge Energy, Ratatai. That's a 9 mil melody. Uh, Bam. And you say, goddamn, this is a dope jam. I'm broad. I'm broad. Ooh, the echo's nice tonight. I'm broader than Broadway. Yes, I'm Jess. And I'm broad. And I'm broader than Broadway. And I'm diddling, 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 diddling myself. And it feels so good. Your sauce will mix with ours. And you will make a good goulash, baby. What are we making? We're making goulash. Oh, yeah. What time is it? It's time for your favorite show in the whole entire universe. Get Wood with your pal, me, Jess Wood. Hi. Hello again. Hello. How are ye? Like I say, happy Day of the Dead to anyone who celebrates. It is 111. Flacco, that's a shout out to you, my friend. 111. Love all the numbers being the same, lining up. Okay, I'm shifting the camera. Barbara. Wait, which way do I have to turn here? Dang it, I thought I set them up correctly, but I did not set them up correctly. Here we are. Okay, so I've leaned out of frame. Just stay with me for a second. And I've got my ancestors behind me. That's right. I have a bunch of pictures of the dead people. I see dead people, photographs behind me. It's on purpose. Because it's Day of the Dead and we honor our ancestors. We honor I always try to cover that clock. We honor our ancestors and we honor our loved ones that we've lost. And I have to say, it's been a very heavy day for me. I don't know why. I don't know if it has to do with, thinking about the dead or just the end of another season or the fact that it's going to get like real dark, tomorrow after they do the thing with the clocks. And I don't know. I feel like we all have a bit of a emotional situation when it comes to changing of the seasons. And you know what? Why shouldn't we? Nature does. I look outside and some days, oh my God, this week the wind was so powerful. It was a mighty wind. And I looked outside and I looked at the trees and I thought, those trees don't mind. This is what happens. They know this is part of the cycle of their life, is that there's wind and there's rain, there's snow and frost and ice and shit like that, but then there's sun and there's light rain and there's soil gets nourished. So I was doing it like an analogy for us, for us human beings, that we get so freaked out and caught up in certain moods or emotional feels about something. And a lot of the stuff we have no control over, like the seasons. And so with every season, turn, turn, turn. I imagine there's a lot of Gen Xers who listen to this or watch this. So I just do references that kind of apply to us. And I think that was even made into like a rotisserie chicken commercial or something. So I'm sure more people know it than not. Pardon me, if you're not watching, I keep swooping my hair out of my eyes because gosh, it's getting long. Hey kids, the hair's getting long. Stuart, what did I say about stealing? Stuart, um, So so it's Day of the Dead. And I was out today for half of the day. Um in Brooklyn, at one of my favorite places in Brooklyn. And if you know me, you know by now, one of my favorite places is Coney Island. And, and when it starts to get cold, Coney Island is no longer one of my favorite places. Although I do love it out there when it's cold. I used to go when it would snow and I'd go and stomp around in the snow on the sand. I mean, have you ever gone on snowed on sand? I had not, because I'm not originally from the East Coast. And the West Coast, you never see snow on sand. Boy, that would mean something was terribly wrong. So um, I went to my other favorite place in Brooklyn today, the Greenwood Cemetery. And Greenwood Cemetery, I talked about it a couple weeks ago, having gone with my friend Ivy, and we visited Basquiat's grave and some other things, and Freemasons and all kinds of stuff, people buried out there in Brooklyn. It's hundreds of acres. So I not only went to a different part of the cemetery today, but I took a whole different train to get there, like a whole different subway line to get to that part of of the um the cemetery. And where I went, it was 25th Street and Fifth Avenue, and it was the chapel. And at the chapel and at the entrance, they had decorated it for de los Muertes. And they had dancers and they had booths set up and they had face painting and there were all kinds of kids running around and there was music playing. And oh my God, marigolds as far as the eye could see. And if you've been with me for a long time, you know that in Los Angeles, when I was back there this last time that I was there, maybe about 8 years ago now. What time is it real? And I was out there, and one day I was wandering through. I did a lot of wandering out there because when you're back in your hometown and you have a lot of trauma, what's another word for it? That's pretty much the word, in that said town. And then you go and explore. Like for me, I was just out walking a lot of the time, get a lot of thinking done, a lot of walking done. So I was this one day I found myself at Hollywood Forever, which is the big cemetery out in Hollywood. I believe Marilyn Monroe, huh? Anybody buried there? A lot of really cool, famous musicians and actors and actresses. And they have peacocks that roam around there and beautiful little lake areas and stuff inside. And so I found myself wandering around in there. And it was just the week before Day of the Dead. And I was in there and I was thinking to myself, I think they're gonna have a festival in here because every year they've had a festival for Dia de los Muertes at the Hollywood Forever Cemetery. So I was like, "Ooh, I would love to be involved in that. I would love to help, like volunteer or help somebody out or something." And oh wow, lo and behold, if you really, really put yourself in the place and you really think a lot about it, I believe it does come true. So uh, I was leaving the cemetery, and there was this older Mexican lady walking towards me. And she said, "Excuse me." And I said, "Yes." And she said, "Could you help me with something?" And I said, "Of course." And so I followed her back into the cemetery, and she happened to be one of the artists that was putting up an ofrenda. I'm probably not saying that right. I'm terribly sorry, and I apologize to everyone involved. It's like an offering, an altar, uh, inside one of the mausoleums at the Hollywood Forever Cemetery on Day of the Dead. And so I helped her get some stuff inside from her car, and I helped her pull it into the mausoleum. Mausoleum. I don't know why I'm saying it like that. Mausoleum, and uh, and then she asked me if I would come and help her the day of the show, because it's just one day. That's all they put it up for at Hollywood Forever. It's just one day, one night, festivities. Bah, it's a huge deal. They have music. They have booths. They have face painting. It's like a lot of marigolds as far as the eye could see. And I said, "Oh, of course, I would love to." So I ended up being able to go and work at the festival with for this woman, really volunteer for it to help this woman. I was carrying a lot of her paintings in and out. I mean, it was just beautiful. It was beautiful. And tonight, gorgeous and on a totally different level, like on this hill, because Hollywood Forever is on Sunset Boulevard, so it's very flat where it is. And uh this Brooklyn, Greenwood Cemetery in Brooklyn, is all hilly and like has all these mausoleums that are like up. Mussolini, am I saying Mussolini? What am I saying? It doesn't even seem right anymore. Okay, they have these mausoleums up. They have people buried up on the hills, and they have these giant Gothic structures that you walk in. The entrances are these wrought iron. Now I've seen 3 different entrances, and I don't know how many there are, but there must be many more because it's so fucking big. So we go in, and it's me and my multiple personalities, and I walk in today, this afternoon, and the sun is shining, and the marigolds, they have these fake garlands of marigolds hanging in the archway of where you go inside, and they're all blowing on you when you walk through. And then you get to the other side, and there's all the graves and all the mausoleums that are up on the hills and down in there's different pathways you can take. I mean, it was absolutely gorgeous. And they had paper mache animals all around, set in different areas, and they were giving the kids little like treasure maps to go and find the little animal. There's a leopard over here, there's a turtle over there, there's a find your animal paper mache. Hey, and it was so cool. Okay, so so beautiful, so beautiful, and it was touching. Got to see some dancers, got to see some very cute girls dancing, got to see some amazing feather wearing skull thing, just shuk, 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 bang, 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 shuk, shuk, shuk. I mean, it felt very, very close to the earth, very First Peoples, very like I gotta say, I honored my mom. Like this is all for my mom. My mom. And if you don't know my mom, she really preferred the Mexican culture over her Jewish culture or the white American culture. Like my mom spent a lot of time in Oaxaca, Mexico in the 80s, and she knew Spanish fluently. I should be half Spanish. I should be half Mexican. I should be half black. The way my mother carried on about people, non-white people, it just so anyhow. I'm there. Anywho, Shauna, I'm there and I'm giving thanks and I'm prayers up. You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying prayers to my mama. I'm saying prayers to my friends' mamas. I'm saying prayers to my friends. It was so beautiful and deep and touching and gorgeous. And everyone was just lovely, and everyone looked beautiful, and there were all types of different people, all ages, and it was really gorgeous. And I hope that even if you don't celebrate, that you will take a moment to give thanks and honor those who have passed into another realm. We don't to where, who knows. Hopefully they're doing great and they can get, whitefish salad on a bagel when they're there. I mean, that's what I hope. That's my personal hope. Anyway, so yeah, wow. And the offerenza in Greenwood Cemetery at the chapel is up through November 18th. So I'm definitely going back if anybody wants to hit me up and we could go out there together. We could meet out there. All right, let me take a look at these notes here. These notes, these nuts. We were talking about 6-7 the other day. I was talking to a couple of friends of mine, and we were saying, we didn't have that. And then the guy who was standing and talking to us said, yeah, but we had D's nuts. And I said, yeah, but it wasn't as often that a teacher would say D's, or bring up the word nuts. Like they were smart enough to know not to say nuts because nuts. But 6 and 7, you can't really no, but how do you stop that? Especially in a math class, you know what I mean? Like they're SOL, baby, SOL. And then somebody asked, "What's SOL?" I was like, "Shit out of luck." I mean, I thought that was the first, text. Like when we were kids and there was no texting, SOL was a thing. We still shortened everything. Tote. Rad. Totes. All right. So I saw that the computer that YouTube, I have this chat and I sometimes get in trouble with it because I'll ask a question and then people will answer it and then I won't read what they answered, but I'm just hoping that whoever's in there can get into a chat. Anyways, it says that you can, I wrote this down, put someone in timeout in the chat. Can you imagine? Like, you're going to timeout, mister or miss. You're going to timeout. Oh man. You know who never put their kids in timeout? Ozzy fucking Osbourne. That's right. And I'm going to talk about Ozzy right now because I was Ozzy for Halloween. That's right. That's right. Sharon. Sharon. And I have to tell you, I looked so much like a gentleman. How do you do? I looked so much like a gentleman that people were like weirded out. And I saw a couple of my friends and they did not recognize me. I mean, they knew that I was Ozzy, but they did not know who I was. Do you know what I mean? So I felt that to me is like the best compliment that I could look like a dude in the all night. And I know, listen, it's like the full opposite of what girls usually do and ladies. Like everyone's like, I'm a bit sexy. Like I will be sexy anything. Like I'm gonna be a sexy COVID. Fucking I'm like sexy polio. You know what I mean? Like people are like, I'm gonna be sexy. I don't even know. I'm sexy blind girl. Like, I mean, you could be a sexy blind girl. I guess that's not a good example. But you know what I mean? Like something that you're like, why are your titties out? And I was excited because it was cold. So I was good. I was in like a leather vest and, fur, like a fucking wig, long brown wig and the round glasses on and a bat on my arm so that I could go, and eat and bite into the bat's head for photo ops because that happens when you're out and about in New York City on Halloween. And but I but I went to zombie tennis. And zombie tennis, why it's exactly what you would think it would be. It was a bunch of people dressed like zombies and they were really into it. Like they were really giving it their whole like stiff joints and bent heads. And I mean, they were really like, I'm like, are they getting paid for this? Because this is very method zombie. They were very method zombie. And yet they were getting the ball over this net that they had built. There was a net and a little court that they had built for these zombie tennis is to play, us zombie tennis players. And when we came in, they took our picture and we had to sign a whole thing. And we had to write all these things down, like what was the last thing you ate and what's your zombie name. And I was like, Ozzy. Like I have no zombie name. I'm fucking Ozzy. I'm Prince of Darkness. Do you understand? And you do know he didn't like think that was what was going to happen. Like they picked Black Sabbath. Their name used to be like Earth or something like that. Like it was totally bland. Yeah, it's pretty bland. Yeah, it's pretty bland. So anyway, I go to zombie tennis. I tool around there for a little while. I hit a couple of balls over the net. And then I go back outside and I go down to the parade. Now, the New York City Greenwich Village Halloween Parade, I do not work for them. This is not like a commercial, but it's been running for 50 something years. And it is just getting more and more and more crowded. And it's kind of getting less interesting as well, because think about it, how can artists survive living here? How can anyone who could build such a beautiful costume be able to also build rent every month? And so there are still gorgeous puppets and beautiful costumes and all kinds of things, but it's really jammed up. It really jams my Glock. It's really jammed up in the streets. And I was in the streets. I wasn't in the parade. I was in the streets and I was watching the parade. And so I'd end up in certain areas where I was just like, let me just lean against a wall for Christ's sake. Let me just get away from all these people for Christ's sake, because there's millions of people go and watch that shit. So I'm up against this wall. I'm resting for a second. There are these brothers next to me. And they keep like looking at me. And that's how I knew I looked like a dude too. Because when dudes are just like giving you like a little stank eye, like dudes are like, what the fuck? Why are you fucking standing here? Like, what the fuck are you standing here for? Whereas, like, if I was all, I'm sexy Ozzy, they'd be like, what's up, girl? What's up? Not just them, but men in general. G, G. So, I'm standing there and they keep looking at me and I go, hey, and I bite my bat and I go, Ozzy, Ozzy lives. And they're like, oh shit, ah. And they start freaking out, ah. And then one of them goes, where's your wife? Where's your wife? And I go, Sharon, Sharon. And they were like, ah. And it just sent everybody over the edge. And it was quite a good time. So I'm like George Costanza, where I'm like, that's it for me. I leave them wanting more. So I left and I went I took a wrong turn at Albuquerque and I just got into some horrible crowd and people were just mean. They're just mean and nasty and they're self-involved and they're way too entitled and they're like trying to crawl over and speed by and push by. And I'm like, hey, motherfucker, we're all waiting. We're all trying to go. And there's a baby right there. There's a baby. And then somebody next to me goes, yeah, this is for the kids. Settle down. This is for the kids. And I was like, it is for the kids. Everybody calm the goddamn down. And it was such a fucking mess. And so I finally get through there and I get to another wall and I'm standing next to another brother. And this dude's like, hey, hey. And no, he doesn't say, hey. What I see okay, so he comes and stands next to me after I've been standing there. And then I see people walking up from where he came from. And a lot of people are stopping and like shaking his hand. Yo, man, thanks. Yo, good looking out. Yo, thanks. And I looked at him and he looked at me. He goes, well, there was a baby. And I was trying to get people to act right because there was a baby. And I'm like, there was a baby on my area too. And I was like, there's a baby. And he was like, that's what I said. There's a baby. He would fucking knock you down because there's a baby right here. I was like, I know. And it's for the babies. And he goes, it's for the babies. And so I was like, yeah. So then we kind of chatted for a little while. And he goes, by the way, very creative costume. I was like, thank you. And so that was really fun. So, it is fun in moments down there, but man, local people don't usually do it. I realize that it's kind of like getting like New Year's Eve where you're just like, why would I go to that? It's insane. And I don't even get to see the best of the best costumes because there's so many people blocking, and you're having like a small panic attack on your way through a crowd. And then you finally get to the other side. And then there's some fool in a fucking Teletubbies outfit again. You know how many Teletubbies and people with the fucking, I saw a girl, she's in the Teletubbies outfit. She's got the fucking bag, holding her bag of the empty Teletubbies costume. I'm like, bitch, at least hide the bag. At least look like you put some fucking effort into it. Okay, I saw too many Teletubbies. I saw too many. Why was Jack Sparrow a lady last night? Right? Is a lady Jack Sparrow? Is there a lady? Am I not just hip to the scene? And I was mostly impressed with how many Luigi Mangionis there were. Oh my God. There was like 24 Luigi Mangionis in like 2 blocks. I was like, Luigi, Luigi, Luigi. And there was the Luigi and Mario. The Mario and Luigi. Yeah. And of course, the K-pop Demon Hunters. But that was more on the children's end that I saw today at the De Ace. So anyway, speaking of children, I did go to a 20-year-old's birthday party over the week. And you're going to say, oh my God, you went to a weekday birthday party, Jessica? You're so cool. And I would say, I know. Psych. I would say sometimes. Also, this is a friend of mine's child, so I really do like her a lot, and I like my friend, and I like my friend's child, and I like my friend's child's friends, and so that it helps. Also, I'm in the city. What am I doing? I'm here. Take advantage. How many good summers do I have left? You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to take advantage of all the stuff I can do. Go and take advantage. So I go to the party. It's a surprise party, but we all hide. And then she comes in, hey, surprise. And she goes, I'm sorry. I knew. I'm sorry. I knew. So it was like, okay, but it's have a party. Woo woo. So I want to give a shout out to B and to Ripley and to Blue, all my girls from the party, and my friend Cecily. And she said, yeah, you got to test them. You better mention their names and see if they listen, because then if they listen, that would be good, just to have some younger listeners. Anyway, I do have younger listeners. I do believe in ghosts. I do. So anyway, there was also a gentleman there who was more my age, a little older, I think, artist, Frenchman, and we had met, numerous times, few here and there times over the years, because he's also friends with my friend who was the mom, and we chatted and we talked about politics and we talked about New York and the change of thing. We talked about art. I mean, all the things that I talk about. So here's my problem with a lot of men. Ready? This is a public service announcement to men. And I know that the men who watch and listen to this show are probably not like this, but I'm just going to say it so that maybe you can pass it on to your friends. If a woman is making eye contact with you and speaking with you in a, I don't know, delightful manner, which is just regular, please do not think that that woman would like to take you home, or would like to go home with you, or would like to have any part of a makeout session or anything like that. Now, when a woman is making advancements at you, perhaps she touches a shoulder, perhaps she puts her hand on your hand, perhaps she and does a thing, or like wants you to take her information, that's a little different. But we got to read the signals here. And this gentleman, enchanté, wrong signals. And I happened to see him again the next day. And I did not mean to. This was not my plan. But we had discussed that he knew someone who owned a bar near my house. And I said, just off the cuff, oh my God, that's so funny. I walk by that bar almost every night when I go home from the train. That's like my route home. So lo and behold, this motherfucker is outside of the bar when I'm walking home the next night. So I figure he's with the girls, because the girls all wanted to go to this bar when we were all talking the night before. So I go, hey man, what's up? Where are the girls? And he goes, oh, the girls, I did not bring the girls. The girls are not here. And I was like, oh. So, I'm a polite broad. I had a cigarette with him outside, chatted a little bit more. One of his friends came up from outside. I was thinking, good, that's a great fucking deal. I'm out of here. So I was like, all right, brother, great to see you. Take care. And he's like, no, we'll walk you. And I got to tell you, again, guys, if a lady says she's good, she's good. If she doesn't want you to walk her, she doesn't want you to walk her. There's no need in forcing your walk, especially in a city where everybody's outside, the lights are on, all the things are well. It's not like a dark ass wooded fucking area. Okay. And even then, some ladies would prefer to walk alone. Then with the man, they would rather see the bear. You know what I'm talking about? So this motherfucker, no, I'm going to walk you. Okay. So you know what I did? I let him walk me 2 blocks. It was 4 blocks, but I said to 2 blocks, I said, all right, brother, you good? Because we're good, right? You're good? Because you're good. All right. And I was very cold. I was very, and put out the vibe. As my mother would say, Jesse, you vibed him. You vibed him good. You really did put out the vibe. And I'm like, yeah, bitch, I have to, because you have to, because these motherfuckers can't read the room. So I'm like, all right, good to see you. I'll see you around, and see you in another fucking 5 years or whenever the fuck it was that we last saw each other, because I don't fucking remember. Anyway, boom, bye. Or should I say, au revoir? So, yeah, no, thank you. Flattered? I guess. Not really. So I'm gonna end on this. The wind. Okay, speaking of windy men, who won't shut the fuck up. The wind this week has been unbelievable. Unbelievable. And I have to just do a little bit. I'm going to leave you. You know what, guys? My time is up already. I know it's gone by so fast because we had such a good time. But my time here is up. So I'm going to tell you a little bit, and I'm going to get off stage with this joke. Um, Here in New York City, the wind is so severe that every time I walk out into it and it hits me from between the buildings, I f- I fucking turn into a blaxploitation character, like a character out of a blaxploitation movie. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, whoosh, motherfucker, what? Whoosh, bitch, I'ma cut somebody. Whoosh, he was my brother and I loved him. Okay. Also in LA, there are winds. They are called the Santa Anas. And you know why they call them the Santa Anas? Because they're fucking they're rough, eh? They're fucking tough and they're rough and they're warm and they're brown and they fucking feel hot on you. And like some would say they're dangerous, but I don't. When I lived in Albuquerque, New Mexico, oh my God, the wind there was like a wind I'd never experienced before. It was a totally mysterious wind to me. It was a wind from another time. It was an ancient wind. It was a wind of our ancestors. It was a hunting wind. It was a wind that no white man had ever seen before or after they had left the plains. Okay, I love you. And don't get all weird because if you say, well, you don't have any native in you, Jessica. Well, I have had a lot of it in me. So, and I wouldn't do it unless I got the okay of the peeps. And you know what? My peeps in Albuquerque were like, yeah, that is really good. That is good. We like what you're doing. We like what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. And I take that as an applause. So until next time, my sweet lovers, and I hope you did enjoy my special tales of Days of the Dead, Hallows Eve, and the Frenchman that would not quit. I bid you au revoir, and I ask you to please, please practice being gentle with yourself. It will make you gentle with others. Trust me, I have to practice it hard every day. I am so cranky sometimes. But if you know you're cranky and you see you're cranky and you feel you're cranky, go for a walk, go have some water, go have a snack, and call a friend or watch a movie you love, listen to some music that you love, dance around the kitchen. I got all kinds of little remedies. I need a remedy. So just know that I got your back and I think you are awesome. And if you're not hurting yourself and you're not hurting anybody else, you're killing it. And I'm so proud of you. And look at that guitar back there behind me. I don't know which way to turn. Yeah, that's a little mini guitar that I got after my pops passed. And have I learned how to use it yet? Not really. No. And I know it would be real good for me to do it too. It'd be very good, like meditative kind of action. So, I've got to tune it and then I'm gonna get into it. So I don't know what y'all are doing out there for fun, but I hope you're doing something, something, something. And those of you on the West Coast, I hope you're getting some relief from the heat. And those of you here on the East Coast, be careful of that wind. I love you so much for listening, and for watching. And if you liked what you saw, please like and subscribe and share with your friends. I like it a lot. Talk to you next week. Okay, love you. Mean it. Bye. Bye. I said goodbye, sir.